Okay, we got Sierra, the confidence guru. Why men shouldn't be sitting at bars, especially in Miami. Yo, man, dating is so cooked for y'all, man. Dating is so cooked. Y'all can't even go in the bar, apparently, or the club and sit at the bar and grab a drink for a second before you dance, before you do anything. It's now unacceptable for men to be sitting at the bar, but we're going to go ahead and check her video out to see her perspective on why.
This is why men should not be allowed to sit at bars as a woman in STEM and corporate in Miami. I posted a TikTok about how so many men were sitting at the bar disproportionately when I've been going to my favorite local bar in Brickell. And I've noticed that even as a woman, there's almost like a reverse in polarity in the bar scene or even nightlife scene where, you know, women are usually the ones who are sitting at the bar stools. You're approached by men. You get to conversate much more easily because you're in your feminine energy, right? You're approachable. And if you listen to a lot of love stories from people in past generations who met their partners out in nightlife or at the bars, the women were always approached by their partners, you know, whether they were on the dance floor or maybe they were at the bar sitting and having a cute little cocktail and then their future husband noticed them. But what I noticed in my comments in my last video is that so many men were triggered by me posting that silly little TikTok and saying, oh, well, there needs to be equality, or that, you know, I have the right to sit at the bar, blah, blah, blah. And what's this highlighting is that, one, a lot of people don't understand that the polarity in relationships is reversing, where a lot of men are more so in their feminine energy in an unhealthy way, where they're more passive, or they have a unhealthy idea that being masculine or being in your masculine energy means having to control a woman. They think it's about asserting dominance and power, and that's
Here comes all the feminist talking points. Hey, man, I hope no guy watched this video and said, yeah, man, I shouldn't be sitting at the bar because this woman that probably doesn't have a man said that she walked in and to start that too many guys were sitting at the bar. Women got to understand that a lot of guys aren't interested in approaching y'all, especially when y'all got this type of energy. Who cares if a guy want to go in the bar, sit down, grab a drink? He might get up and approach a woman sometime later. Of course, if he's a gentleman, most of us as men, if 4 girls walk in a bar and it's only 3 seats left and we're sitting at the bar, we're probably going to give our seat up for that 4th woman, unless she's just totally unattractive. No, I'm kidding, but even then we would still give our seat up for that woman.
That's not true masculine leadership, right? Getting up and giving up your seat at the bar does not mean that you're losing control. It means you're creating a safe container for the women at the bar, where the women know, hey, I'm going to be provided for, even if it's in little ways. I can rest my feet. I can sit down comfortably. A matter of fact, if you're doing that as well with good intentions and not like ulterior motives, like those women, right, or whatever woman you give up your seat for, you never know, that can lead to another date. But you have to be willing to kind of lead and provide that energetic container for a lady to feel safe, to feel comfortable, to feel like she can just loosen up and have fun while she's out. And a lot of men are losing touch with this in real life. And I saw in my comments, how many men were losing touch with the art of socializing in real life. And it's funny because there's a lot of conversations about the male loneliness epidemic, but whenever I talk to older gentlemen in particular, because I'm not someone who dates a lot of men or young guys around my age. I'm 26. I'm attracted, I think, more intellectually and emotionally, as well as just given where I'm at in terms of my career, to older men. They don't really know what I'm talking about when I bring up the male loneliness epidemic. And they also say that, well, if you're somebody with emotional intelligence, if you know how to socialize, if you know how to engage with women in real life and be a gentleman, chivalrous, provide that masculine leadership and safety, and not go in with this mindset.
She's making a lot of assumptions about men sitting at a bar, which is crazy. She's trying to say that this is why they're lonely. This is they're probably not chivalrous. They probably don't know how to socialize. To me, that's kind of insane. Now, I do think it's important for men to know how to talk to women, and a lot of men don't have that skill nowadays. This is why dating coaches will forever make money, because a lot of guys just don't have that skill, and it's something it comes natural to some of us, and sometimes you got to learn it, right? She's mixing a lot of talking points with men sitting at the bar trying to make it sound like what she's saying is facts, just by sprinkling like a little bit of truth into it. Think about a lot of those older guys when they start talking about emotional intelligence and stuff. These are the guys that let women run wild in the beginning. A lot of stuff right now is because how these older guys acted. So it's hard for younger guys to listen to these older guys, except for when they're telling us what they did wrong, and they actually have that level of they know what they did in the past was wrong, and they trying to give game to the younger guys. But we're going to go ahead and let her finish.
I'm all about equality, or, I'm all about, being the man, I need to be respected, right? These men are going out with this energy of, how can I make women's lives easier? How can I make this woman comfortable? And how can I, make sure she enjoys my presence so she's not thinking about other things, right? Think about it. Even little things like if you have to stand in your heels, which, by the way, just want to show you some of my heels, like, these hurt, right? Think about these ladies that are like wearing shoes like this, or like the straps cutting your toes after you've been walking and standing. Like, men need to think about these little things. But that's just my 2 cents, my little rant on why men should stand at bars. This is why men should not.
Man, I don't know any men personally that I have around me that would not give their seat up for a woman at a bar. So that point is kind of irrelevant. I guess she must have went into a bar and a guy didn't give his seat up for her, because it seems like she's just a little bit jaded by the whole bar thing. My thing is, go and ask 100 bartenders who would they rather have at the bar. Is it going to be the man who's probably going to tip a lot more, or you want the woman sitting there? Like, I guess it kind of depends on the situation, because if a woman's sitting there and she's actually attractive, she might get a guy to come and spend twice as much money on drinks. But they probably wouldn't just want the average girl or a below average girl just sitting at the bar over a man, because 9 times out of 10 that man is going to spend more. But appreciate her opinion and her perspective on this situation. I'm definitely interested to know y'all perspective. I guess my final perspective would be that dating is so cooked that they're picking these little tiny points and saying, oh, this is what's wrong with men. And man, we do the same thing on the other side, is picking these small little things out and like, oh, this is what's wrong with women. And sometimes if you ask anybody that's been in a long-term relationship, they're going to tell you that nobody's perfect, but when you only solely focus on the negative aspects of that other person, you're going to start to dislike them. So it's best to focus more on the positive things than the negative things. Not to say if it's something that just totally bothers you, you don't speak on it. Like, you definitely should speak on it, but don't sit around always thinking about the negative aspects of somebody. Don't think about their negatives more than their positives, unless it's just too, like, if it's too crazy, you just got to leave. You just got to leave the situation, Yeah, man, gender wars continue well into 2025. Don't see it ending anytime soon, but y'all let me know what y'all think about this down below. Love y'all. I'm out.